Hello, I am Wan Qi. Welcome to Taiwan is my home. There have been more and more people who moved to Taiwan in recent years, building their homes here. They are the new immigrants. Among them, many came for love. Now we will take you to such a family. The French chef was once an engineer. For love's sake, he became a chef, left his home, and started a new life in Taiwan. If you always do the same things again and again, it's quite boring. I like to discover new things. And it's interesting you can create new things. French chef Nicolas knows how to handle a Chinese wok. It's not French, it's not Cambodian, it's not Taiwanese, it's me. French cuisine uses mushrooms to make sauce base. Besides mushrooms, Nicolas puts in soy sauce as well as coconut milk and fennel. Adding some green onions and shallots, this is fusion beyond borders. 15 years ago, I went to Cambodia to visit my sister. And after that, I visited the country several times as a tourist traveling around. Then I opened the restaurant there. And I was thinking on making changes in life. Nicolas has had a wonderful life. He was an engineer in France. The money was good, but he felt no passion. After he turned 30, he was determined to walk out of his comfort zone and devoted himself to cooking. You know that in France, many people are not vegetarians, which makes it a bit difficult to open a restaurant. Nicolas is an animal lover. That's why he studied vegetarian cooking. Doctors once warned him about his cholesterol level, so he cut down on meat and became healthier. He decided to promote health food. His idea of cooking is that of simplicity and purity. It's important to separate every vegetable in the kitchen. Never mix them, never. Every vegetable needs different time to cook, so you have to do it 3 times. The peas, green beans, and broccoli separately. Bathe them in cold water, then drain them. They also need to be stored separately. The vegetables and fruits come from small farms, purchased once a day. Nicolas pays a lot of attention to the details in the kitchen. To avoid gas for his customers, he peels the fine skin of the paprika. The way he cuts the vegetables, in my eyes, is quite wasteful. Yes, I don't get it. Why wasteful? For instance, that over there, the red or yellow paprika, here, you cut both ends. Cut and keeping only the middle. But we keep the ends. Be careful, baby. And the mushrooms, too. The stem of the mushroom is quite long, and he cuts half it away. Actually, he makes use of these parts. He collects the vegetable and fruit peels and cooks them for several hours to make a vegetable stock. It is pure and natural. I don't like too many flavors. Sometimes I would use some herbs and that's it. Vegetables have their own flavors. It's very tasty. I want to keep the natural flavor of vegetables. To assure the freshness, he insists on preparing the minimal amount of food. Food is made after each order. His wife Lucy has to explain Nicolas' fresh principle to waiting customers. I think he has principles. Often we talk about the principle, but we don't really follow. I think his success in Cambodia was because he insisted on his principles. You know what you want, right? And you are very stubborn. In 2008, Lucy traveled to Cambodia. She went to Nicolas' restaurant and fell in love with his food. She came again and again, I think for 5 days in a row. Of course, she came 5 days and I came to know her better. So I treated her to a drink after closing. I paid for it myself. No. You stingy Frenchman. Yeah, I remember I paid for the drink. Yeah, maybe the first time. For Lucy, Nicolas broke his own rule of never falling in love with a customer. But I think she was worth it. Oh, say that again. Say that in Chinese. Worth it. Worth it. Very worth it. Very worth it. But the problem was, should she stay in Cambodia or should he go to Taiwan? A tough one, but the decision came easy. She was scared of the big animals there. She couldn't live there. The spiders, oh, they were huge. Or the snakes. So I said to her, if you don't move to Cambodia, I'll go to Taiwan. That also meant that Nicholas had to start all over again. He found out that he couldn't reproduce his Cambodian success in Taiwan. The biggest problem was people. First, it was not easy to find staff. Second, it was harder to keep it. He even sent his cook overseas for training, but the cook still left. Nicholas was frustrated. He didn't want to stay in Taiwan any longer. Right, but because of her. Lucy didn't want to leave. She didn't want to go to Cambodia either. He stayed because he loves her. He loves her very much. They are really a good couple. The restaurant is understaffed. Nicolas has to work for two, but there's so many new dishes he wants to try. He wanted to challenge himself again. We can do something like booking. I can give people what I think is good. This is good for the customers because they can taste things that are original, and also good for me. I can keep trying new things. When a couple works together, they can break metals. Nicholas may not know this Chinese saying, but he's doing just that. I'm lucky that she's here. She can work for two. She has a lot of energy. A lot of energy. Customers can feel it. They like the food here. They enjoy talking to Lucy. They like it. He is quiet and shy, and she's outgoing and energetic. They have the best chemistry. Their interaction is more flavorful than any spice. It's very good now. A little lighter would be better. Okay. It is good. English chef Jamie Oliver said he would give up cooking if there were no herbs and spices. Nicholas' spice shelf is right in his garden. Oregano. We call it marjoram in French. But that's French, but you can call it oregano. I use it for salad, very fresh. It's difficult to cook because it turns black. There are herbs you don't get in Taiwan, like herbs for curry sauce. Nicolas buys the dried herbs instead. This is my secret. There are curry leaves, mint, and lemongrass, etc. He uses these to make the curry sauce and uses red yams to replace pork. In the Cambodia wedding, he uses mushrooms instead of meat. The texture of meat, very chewy. Vegetables are, they are soft, and you can't chew it like meat. He would never go for good taste at the expense of health. For example, eggplants are usually deep fried first. I don't like to deep fry eggplants. It's too greasy. Too much fat. He doesn't want to turn eggplants into calorie bombs. His rules for cooking? Health goes before looks. This is water bamboo with curry sauce. Winter bamboo, spring bamboo, all kinds of bamboos. Big ones, small ones, water bamboo. It's really nice. Nicolas loves to try new things. In Taiwan, he tries local ingredients. I learned this from stepmother. Godmother. Godmother, that's right. I didn't know how to cook Chinese food, so I learned it from an expert. His first cooking teacher was his mother in France. His godmother in Taiwan, Miss Wu Guangjie, is an expert in Chinese cooking, had a Shanghai restaurant before. She gives him a lot of help. She showed me the traditional way of cooking, and after that, I changed it to my own cooking. Nicola likes all kinds of food, including stinky tofu. I like stinky tofu. Yeah, I like the smell. It reminds me of cheese. I like cheese flavor. There's mild curry, juicy pineapples with tender pumpkins, sour yet a bit sweet, dashed with mint, which adds an exotic touch. He has no boundaries, no rules. A happy cook brings happiness to his guests. I cooked with my heart, and the customers say they can feel it. The food has a lot of energy. If you insist on cooking only good food, you have to make 1 out of 10 happy. If one is happy, he will go tell 10 others. The boss is very nice, his wife is very nice, so how can we give up? But she's a bit noisy. Yeah. In here, Nicola has family who loves him like his mother, and a wife who gives him strength. Nicola hopes to use his fusion food to comfort people and to win acceptance in a foreign land. Welcome back to Taiwan is my home. In every family, there are problems of getting along. In the following story, the husband is German and the wife Taiwanese. According to the wife, the husband is a typical German. He's so insistent to the point of being stubborn. But eventually they found ways to communicate. They also found ways to present it on the dining table. This is a good idea of East meets West. Heiko is steaming the famous German pork knuckles with Taiwanese steamer. My mother-in-law tells me to try the bamboo steamer. And I said to her, no, I can't use it because I've never used it before. The cooking pots in Germany are different. But my wife and my mother-in-law tell me to try it. After trying the bamboo steamer, Heiko noticed the natural bamboo aroma, and you don't have to worry about the toxic metal residues. Heiko comes from the Black Forest area in southern Germany. The food there is natural and light. There are no added chemicals, and that is totally wrong. You can't use nitrous acid. You keep the natural color. You put in onions, rosemary, bay leaves, black peppers, and you steam them. In Germany, they do this in a steaming pot. Now the bamboo steamers are more natural. Finally, you put the pork knuckles into the oven and grill them until the skin is crispy. Back in Germany, Heiko worked as a cook when he was young. His parents wanted him to be an engineer. While working in Shanghai, he met his wife, Crystal. When we're at work, we only talk work. I respect him as the chef. I do the dining area, and he calls me Crystal. Sometimes he will call me from a distance, wife. All customers would ask, which one is the chef's wife? Crystal made a rule with Heiko to strictly separate work and family. Before she met Heiko, she had worked for over 10 years in Shanghai at a 5-star hotel. Before she came back to Taiwan, she was a high-ranking manager leading a team of 100 people. Last year, their son was going to school. Heiko suggested that they move back to Taiwan so their son could go to school. Crystal quit her job and came back to help Heiko realize his dream of being a chef. For about a year and a half, before I went home from work. Well, I got home at about 11 p.m. I would call from my office and said, I'm coming home now. Today I want to eat seafood spaghetti, for example. And he would start making it at home. When I get home at 11, there the dish was on the table. That would be our dinner, and we would talk about the dish. Crystal has tried many different food before. Her favorite is a homemade dish from Heiko. Right? The soup noodle made us fall in love with each other. Hey, what is that? Wow, I made a mistake. Hey, be careful with what you're saying. In Shanghai, Heiko went to eat at Crystal's restaurant. That's how they got started. What touched Crystal was an invitation from Heiko to his home. The difficulty in making soup noodle is you have to be very cautious and very patient, starting with mixing the flour and mashing the potatoes. It is not like I wouldn't be able to do it, but he would make them one by one, very slowly. Crystal said soup noodle, the German food that looks like Taiwanese tempura, was what impressed her. When she saw Heiko kneading the dough with his hands, she was touched. He made every single one the same size. Very fair. That's German style. Right, German style. If his assistant makes the dough without measuring, he would ask, why didn't you measure? Again, German style. After soup noodles are boiled in hot water, the Germans stir-fry them in a pan. In Germany, soup noodle is cooked only with vegetables. In Taiwan, he adds onions, cherry tomatoes, and broccoli, and Taiwanese basil. I combine German cooking with Taiwanese taste. I'm happy because I don't have to change my taste. She's happy because she gets the Taiwanese basil. And the customers really like it. Taiwanese basil is Crystal's favorite. When Heiko saw it, he instinctively said no. Coriander is another herb that makes Heiko run away, so Crystal takes over. Here, the sirloin steak is at least 2.5 centimeters thick. It's fried on low heat until medium rare, sprinkled with mushrooms, onions, dashed with hot peppers and soy sauce. The flavoring is Taiwanese. And Crystal, who loves coriander, insists that Heiko put coriander on the steak. Crystal knows that Heiko needs evidence for everything. In order to convince Heiko to accept local ingredients, she took him to the market to introduce him to local foodstuff. The Germans are resistant to things they don't know. They're conservative. But once they think something is good, they can be open-minded. Heiko agrees to use local ingredients to save food miles. But how do you change a conservative? How do you open his heart? She's clever. She wouldn't tell me what it is. She will let me try. If I like it, she will tell me what it is. If I don't like it, she won't tell me. Vegetables such as spinach, bitter melon are still on Heiko's waiting list. Potato, onion, tomato, big cucumber, and this, eggplant. I learned these Chinese names from him. When Crystal is busy, I come to the market by myself. I would say, this, and he would tell me the names many times. Heiko's Chinese has become so good that they can carry out a bargain. I'll take a bag from here. How much is this? 3 NT? 30. 3? After some tutoring, Heiko is pretty good now. About why he's using local ingredients, Heiko's answer makes his wife very happy. Is it because of me? Yes. She's also local. Besides showing love for his wife, Heiko has the German sense of humor when it comes to vegetables. We have been using zucchini for our dishes. Zucchini. And then he saw this, and he tells him he can use this too. He had never seen this before. So I said it tastes a bit different. Yeah, tastes different. This is zucchini for you, and this is our big cucumber. It should be the opposite. I'm the big one, and she's the little one. No, our Taiwanese fruits are all big. Talking about fruits, Germany imports star fruit, papaya, and wax apple. They're expensive, have high food miles. Heiko makes great fruit cakes. Heiko bakes his favorite German apple cake, despite the fact that fruits in Taiwan are sweet and juicy. He mixes flour, butter, and attaches the pie shell to the baking form. Then he lays apple slices and raisins in the shell in solid German technology. Chef, enough raisins? More. Wow, German style again. Not enough raisins and plenty of almond slices. He makes every cake this way. I would say, is this enough? And he would always say, no, my standard is up to here. Okay. At the end of the month, I would say, sorry boss, the cost is too high. Another thing Crystal has to complain to Heiko. This way I won't complain that it's hard to cut, because when it's in the oven, the fruit will shrink in size, the rim will look higher. When I cut the cake, the pieces won't look nice, the rim will crumble. Then I will, Heiko wants to make it easier for you to cut. Yes, and I want it to look good. Heiko makes sure the pie shell is pressed hard for Crystal to cut. Then Crystal is trying to challenge her husband once again. Heiko has never seen persimmon or green dates. Though Crystal tried to convince him, Heiko sticks to apples for cake. I saw these fruits and I said to him, please use these for cake. He said, what is it? I said, this is persimmon. He said, never seen it. No. A few days later I said to him again, use this for cake. He said, what is it? No. A week later I said to him, I like to eat this cake. Can you make it for me? He said, do you want to eat it? Okay. Crystal realized that oftentimes she has to put her career woman aside and be that sweet girl. Two dominant people in the house don't get very far. 5 hours later, the German pork knuckle is served. The fun part is to cut it yourself. Heiko insisted that customers cut their own food, but Crystal got lots of complaints and the knuckles came back to the kitchen. No one cuts a pork knuckle here. This is not German style. So I cut the skin, I saved the bones, and the plate looks huge and you can still see it's a knuckle. So I said, okay, this is 65% German and 35% Taiwanese. Heiko uses milk to make the mashed potatoes. He makes the pickles himself too. Now Heiko knows that Taiwanese don't eat as much potatoes. He cooks rice for them. Heiko is trying to find a good balance between maintaining the German style and helping his wife handle customer complaints. He trusts her expertise in the dining business. She respects his traditional German cooking. There's a good taste of East meets West, of mutual trust and tolerance. Thank you for sharing with us the two family stories. Taiwan is my home, hopes to give you a time as cozy as the time spent with family. Now, that's it for today's show. I'll see you next time.